It's everything I've done and learned from my mistakes throughout the years. So you guys can learn from what I've done right and done wrong, and hopefully learn faster than I did. First question is always, how do I know when to bulk? And I find this such a funny question people ask me because I have no fucking clue when people should bulk. It's very like situation dependent, person dependent, goal dependent. But as a whole, I would say, obviously if your goal is to put on muscle, you should bulk. And if you're not fat, you can bulk. And fat is obviously very different to the average person, but if you're unhappy with the level of body fat you're at, that's super important. I don't think you should bulk yet. Come down to a body fat that you're happier with, maybe a little bit below even, and then work your way back up. But as a general rule of thumb, I like to be like around 12% body fat for men, maybe 18 to 20 for women, but having visible abs for men specifically. It's easier to gauge. So if my abs are still poking through a little bit, then I'm good to go, and I know I haven't bulked too far, or I'm good to bulk. Next question, tail off that last one, is how do I know when to stop bulking? And similar to when you know if you should bulk, if you start to lose your abs or if you get too much of a high body fat percentage, I always struggle to say that, I got it that time, then you know it's time to slow down. There's a few other things, like when your appetite is absolutely like in the shitter, like you can't eat at all, it'll be tough to eat when you're bulking really hard. When it's completely gone, sometimes you need to just take a step back. If your lifts in the gym are plateauing, if your weight is stagnating, all these different things, it's kind of time to give your body a little bit of a break, whether it be for a week or a full cut. It kind of depends on your goals and situation, of course. But again, big thing is if you have some abs, you're still happy with how you look, you're not too fat yet, then you can keep pushing that weight. All right, so how to start? How to start your base calories, macros, meal plan, whatever it may be. The simplest thing that everybody needs to do, and this is Justin's quote, is he always says, what isn't measured isn't managed. So the more you measure, the more you can manage, the more you can adapt, and you know what changes you're making are causing the changes in your body. So the most important step of starting anyone's fitness journey really is tracking everything you eat consistently and calculate the calories and macros on that. Maybe do it for a week, take the average and see what it is, and weigh yourself during all those days as well. So if I'm 250 pounds, I'm eating 4,000 calories every single day, then my base to maintain 250 pounds is 4,000 calories. So if I want to lose weight, I'll go under that. If I want to gain weight, I'll go over that. Typically, you'll increase by like 5 to 10, probably like 5%, I would say. I usually go on more so like 300 to 500 calorie increase when I start a bulk. So if I'm resting at 4,000, I'll go up to 4,500. And then from there, you can count your macros through that. Obviously, most important if you're trying to bulk, put on muscle, is protein. And you don't need quite as much protein when you're bulking because carbs are actually protein sparing. When you're really low carb, your body is going to use protein for energy. Whereas when you're really high carb, you have all the carbs used for energy, so your body uses the protein to build muscle. Therefore, they help you spare protein. So when you're in that low carb deficit, your body's pulling from your protein source in order to make energy, not just rebuild.